What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Joust tier list for Smite 2. And today we have Open Beta 3. And as you can see, this is a tier list I did before for Open Beta 2. I plan on continuously updating these tier lists every single patch, as every single Open Beta should have new gods to it. So in Open Beta 4, they're going to have a Wheelix and Artemis. So I plan on doing an update for that. I'm going to keep doing these similar to what I did in Ranked Joust for Smite 1, if you guys were there. If not, basically, very quickly, I go over the tier list I did beforehand for the last patch, so for Open Beta 2, and then I compare it to what I think they are now, whether they're lower or higher. So really, I'm just going to go through this tier list that I have, which I said again is from Open Beta 2, and then just kind of moving them around. We have 3 new gods I didn't go over, so that's going to be, I'm going to be going over those ones as well for Joust. Again, this is my opinion. So all of these are going to be based on my experience from playing, watching other people play, and then looking at some stats like their win rate and stuff like that. I compare them to Conquest's like win rate and stuff like that, although a lot of the gods, believe it or not, in a different game mode are better or worse, and that's just because they have different maps, different playstyles, different itemizations. So there are going to be better and worse gods for Joust compared to other things, but I've gone over it, looked at other game modes to see how they perform, and then also my own experience and stuff like that. Again, this is my opinion, but I think that's basically everything I have. We can go over the categories we have here. Eventually, when this starts to not become a thing, because there's only one god up here right now, I plan on maybe moving this and making a whole different category. But as of right now, broken meaning they're absolutely gross. They need nerfs ASAP. Disgusting. And Aladdin was at that point, and Open Beta 2 in my opinion. Top picks. These are going to be your top picks for each role. A lot of these are going to have gods from each different role. And these are going to be your top, like, win rated, really good top picks for Joust. A+ is going to be above average. These are going to be gods that are obviously above average. Very, very good. Not top of the top, but you know, right in that nice, really good spot. Average is going to be average. It's just average. So I mean, they're just going to be solid, nothing crazy. They're going to do things, not the best, not the worst. And then obviously below average is going to be below average, not really all that great. Performs at a lesser margin than other gods. One thing I will like to note is that in Smite 2, it seems to be the case that a lot of gods, in my opinion, feel like they're really fucking solid, at least compared to Smite 1. And that just might be because of the roster being cut in half, where there's only half the amount of gods basically from Smite 1. And so, you know, gods that normally, you know, are really, really good in Smite 1 aren't either here, and therefore you know, have an impact on some gods that probably weren't as good in Smite 1 that are now, because those gods aren't there, for example. If that made any sense, I hope it did. But it seems to be the case. Most gods are going to lie in between the above average and average, which is why I don't have like a C category, because I don't really think there are that many C category gods or enough to validate one. So these are your each tier. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Do I want to do these first? I'll probably save these for last. So we're gonna go through this entire thing, and then we're gonna do these last 3 for Open Beta 3. So let's get into it. So Aladdin, there has been a lot of patches recently. Aladdin did get nerfed. I'm gonna be honest, it didn't affect him too much. However, I do think it did bring him down a little bit. He's going to be S. Now, with that in mind, he's still very, very fucking good. Being able to, again, I think I made a little rant last time. He still is the case. He does a lot of damage. It's just that his damage isn't as crazy as it was before. It's still really, really, really fucking good. Don't get me wrong, which is why he's top in my opinion, S pick. But again, his mobility, his damage, shit like that really makes him a lot. It just makes him shine, basically. And so he can go into any team comp. When you have a lot of damage, mobility, and survivability with your ult, when you have one shot, you can throw out your ult and you get all your health back, and then you have fucking passive that gives you all the other shit like insta cooldowns and a revive. It tends to be a really fucking good god. So I think really it's just his kit. He's super fucking good still in like every single game mode, so he's gonna be top pick. Medusa's actually going to stay here as well. Medusa got a nerf too. It didn't do much. I'd still think she's probably your best hunter. She's so fucking easy to play. She does so much damage, has so much utility with her ult, synergy with a lot of other gods for Joust. And she was already a generally speaking really good hunter in Smite 1 for Joust anyways. I think it's probably her kit, but her damage is obviously very fucking good. And ADCs are really fucking good right now too, so that helps her case too. So she's gonna stay here. You'll see that a lot of these S tier picks is because of their fucking kit. It makes them really good in Joust. So going on to Aphrodite's gonna stay in S. Her win rate's pretty high too. I think it's like 74% in like the way that Smite 2 Live does their win rates. If you guys don't know, you can go here, you can go to gods, and then you can go to win rates, and you can check the win rates for each god. They are a little bit, some of them are not accurate because a lot of people don't play those gods, and they only capture like the highest end rated Joust games, so you got to be careful about it, which is why you should really get a feel for the gods, and not just pay attention to stats. But with Aphrodite, she has a very high win rate, and it's because her ult's just, crazy. Not a lot of people play her in my experience, but I feel like a lot of people who do play her only play her, it seems to be the case. But even if you don't play her at great, or you don't play her that much, she's still super easy and has such great utility. Being able to heal, use your ult to save. Now she has she's always had, obviously, but her kiss, being able to have some consistent CC, her 2 being displacement in her fucking 2 is actually so wildly fucking annoying as like a god like Aladdin or something like that, we had to get up close because she just fucking throws you away. It's fucking annoying as shit. So she just has everything. You have to build an anti-heal against her, and even then she can just back up and heal your team. There aren't a lot of anti-heal items, or it seems to be. Well, I mean, we obviously have anti-heal items, but I mean, for a class like hunters who don't even really have an anti-heal item, I mean, technically they have an anti-heal item. It's just not as good as it was in Smite 1, because there are better hunter items. I feel like the anti-heal doesn't really impact her too much, so she's gonna be staying S in my opinion. All right, and then we got on her. I think I was a little. I still think he's very good. I think I was a little bit, maybe, I think I said he could also be A+, so I'll give myself that, but I don't think he's S right now. I think he just doesn't seem to be performing as well. He's very good in Joust, obviously, but I think that, I don't think it's valid to give him S. He does very good damage. His aspect is solid, not the greatest, but solid. Yeah, CC Munal. I mean, everything about on her that was good in Smite 1 is the same with Smite 2. But with that being said, there's a lot of other gods I feel like that do what he does, either the same. There really isn't other gods that I feel like he really outclasses. So I would have to put him in above average. Still very good, not quite S in my opinion. Like Medusa is way better than on her in my opinion. And I can't really put them in the same category in my opinion. Obviously this whole thing is my opinion. Anyways, Cabrakan, I think I was a little bit too much on him, because I honestly think he could have been an A+ for OB2, but for OB3, the amount of buffs this god has gotten, the damage and shit like that, makes him obviously still stay in S. So I think I overrated him a little bit in the last patch, but now he's quite literally an S tier pick. I mean, his early game and mid game damage is out of this world, obviously. And Cabrakan was always that god when it came to consistent CC with his 1, 2, his ult, and then obviously his CC and his 3 now, which is really good as it cripples, I believe that's the word, allows you to not the enemy to jump or use any dash ability. So he's gonna stay in he's gonna definitely stay in S. One thing about tanks though is that they suck at late game. So I mean I guess you could kind of put him in A+ late game, but I mean overall as a tank, when comparing it to all the other gods who can go tanky as well, I think he's just one of the top ones anyways. I think I should make a video on that, top 3 gods or top 2 gods for each role, since there are technically no roles anymore, I guess. But regardless, he's staying he's gonna stay S. Sobek's staying S as well. I think if I were to put this, I think Sobek's literally the best Guardian right now. Guardian, since Guardian doesn't exist anymore. His pluck obviously don't ever go. His aspect's so dog shit. I don't know what the fuck they thought they were doing with that. Sobek's aspect is dog shit, so don't go that. But his 2, 3, 1 ult and his ults and executes are fucking broken, especially if you're a fucking Guardian with the type of peel and setup that this guy can have. It's fucking broken. He's probably the best traditional Guardian. He's just, nothing's gonna change about him until they fucking do something about his kit, which it's his kit that's the fucking problem. They need to either change his damage, don't give him execute or whatever, but even still, he's still fucking so fucking good. It's funny because he doesn't really have, I mean, you obviously when you go up against a Sobek, you want to punish him by him dashing and stuff like that, but and you still you can still punish him obviously, but I still think that even when it's a lot harder to punish. I think I said this before, it's a lot harder to punish when he's in his 1, at least for us currently right now. I swear to God I said this before. Geb as well. Geb can actually go pretty damagey if you go hybrid. Same thing, I mean this is what I've been saying, same thing with Sobek and Gabrakan, because full tank at late game, unless you can fully rely on your team, isn't the best. So having some damage / hybrid items on like all your tanks are going to be better, and I think Geb does that also really well too, especially with his aspect. If he wanted to go that, to be able to do a lot of damage all around you. Don't think it's necessary, but you can if you want to. Full damage Geb actually fucking slaps. You have to have a good team with you that can coordinate really well, because Geb can now jump and knock up with his 1. So he's really fucking good. I don't think really too much has changed with him. His damage, and if you want to go like hybrid tank, he's still very fucking good as well. You can kind of go anywhere, hybrid, full damage if you want to. I've gone against some full damage Geb, and it's so fucking hard to stop with the blink, his 3, his shield. I mean, no, let's not talk about his fucking setup as Geb with his 1 being able to jump now, but his 2 and his ult, and then his fucking shield is so fucking goddamn annoying. And shield splitter, the item that shield splitter axe, I believe, is a counter to shields. It's just I've tried it a little bit. It's good, sure, but like it's just consistently annoying. You have to like use that item during a fight, which is it's not. He's still very fucking good with that counter items. I'm basically trying to say. So he's still gonna be S. Hecate, my god, dude, I can't tell you how many times I'm surprised by how much damage this god does, especially later in the game. Her 2 fucking destroys you, especially when you don't even realize that. Like, I mean, you kind of realize it's up, but it's an ability that's kind of hard to not get hit by, I'm gonna be honest. And when you're throwing out abilities all around that area and you get hit by this fucking thing, this thing literally hits you like an ult. I've gotten hit by this thing for like 1200, 1300, and we're not even level 20 yet. Like literally, like I remember I was playing Vulcan and I got hit by her 2, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I just got fucking half hit with her fucking 2 and nothing else. She's a pretty solid support too, but that's not really why she's in top. She's really fucking good because of her Mage burst ability. Her abilities are really simple, easy to hit. She's relatively safe. She can ult herself out if she needs to, or if she wants to ult people in. She has a very good team ult and team synergy, so she's gonna stay in S. Probably one of your top mages. All right, Izanami, I'm going to bring down to A+. I think she's in a similar boat with on her. I think I overshot her a little bit. I still think she's very fucking good, and the ADCs are very fucking good, but I think she's still not as good as like a god like Medusa. And so I think she'd probably be like top A+. I can't really justify putting her in S per se, but very close top A+. Nothing really changed with her. I think maybe just... I'm not entirely... I just don't believe that she's a top pick when comparing the other gods up there, because she still can get ran down, very similar to on her as well. You got to be very careful how you play them as well. Ra, I'm actually going to bring down too. I love Ra, and especially with his aspect. I think I overshot him too. I still think he's... Yeah, a little bit different with Ra though, because his healing and his aspect make him super fucking good, but also his mage is really fucking good too. So it depends on which one you go, but I still think he's probably top A+. I've gone into some Ra's, I've played more Ra, and he doesn't seem to be... I just don't think he's quite S. I guess I could see it if you really wanted to argue, because he's got that healing and, you know, he's really fucking good, but I think I think with enough anti-heal, I think you can counter him a little bit better than I thought in open beta 2. Still very fucking good top support, and in my opinion probably an honorable mention in terms of support, or even top 3 when it comes to his aspect. And I guess I could see S if I really wanted to. He's close. He's close. Uller I'm gonna bring down to A+. I think for obvious reasons. I think he's not doing as good in terms of win rate. That's one of the biggest things. And then I was hesitant to put him in S. He still does a lot of fucking damage. He's always been Uller. You know, being able to consistently hit all your abilities, building correctly, you're just gonna allow you to nuke people. But I think with how hard he is to consistently play at that level to make him a top pick, I think he puts him down. And on top of the fact he's not been you know, doing as good recently, so I'm gonna put him down to A+. Vulcan still does a fuck ton of damage. Nothing changed about him. You can easily get in every single game top damage with like 30 to 50,000 in that range of damage in Joust. Depending on how long the game goes, his damage is absolutely crazy. And I think he's definitely top 3 mage. Nothing really changed much with him. Going down to A+, we kind of put these down here. Again, I think I could give Ra S, but on her Izanami, Uller, I think definitely belong in A+ currently. Same with Bacchus. I think Bacchus is going to stay here too. Bacchus was always a very consistently good support in Joust, and I still think he is. I just don't think I don't think he's at the same level as like a Sobek, Kabrakan, or Geb. He just doesn't... he does a lot of damage, obviously. I just don't think he does as much damage as he did in Smite 1. Now, that could be the case I'm going up against bad Bacchuses, but even when I played Bacchus, he doesn't seem to be... He doesn't have the same type of oomph I feel like he did in Smite 1 to make him like a top pick, but I do think he is a very good top honorable mention, like, support type character. Baron, I'm going to stay here too. I think Baron's in a very similar boat to all these other gods. You kind of want to build him hybrid. Full damage is fine. One thing about his ult that I feel like the impact of his ult just wasn't the same as it was in Smite 1. I think they read the same way with his Hysteria. You have to get Hysteria on certain gods to pull them in with his ult easier. But with, you know, Talisman of Purification, it's not as great. You know, not only is his ult not pulling, I feel like, a similar rate in Smite 1, but you got Talisman of Purification, which you can buy on any single god. Which I think inherently makes him not as great. In Smite 1, I would put him in S pick because he's that fucking good, I feel like. Very hybrid. But I still think he's going to be in the A+, above average, because I still think he does a decent amount of damage. I have a hybrid Baron game coming out on my YouTube soon. He still does a decent amount of damage, like a consistently good amount of damage. And his healing is really fucking good too, if you go like Rod of Asclepius, which isn't bad on him either. But you kind of want to build him more hybrid-y so you can tank some shit, because he still has the ability to get run down. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Anyways, Agni, I think isn't an S pick god now. I think maybe I said this before. I thought he could be an S tier pick. I know I did. But I am convinced now that he is an S tier pick. I've been playing Agni, been going up against Agni, I've been seeing other people play Agni on my team and stuff like that. And he's got that damage. Very similar to Vulcan, you can drop 30,000 to like 50,000 damage. I think he's probably top 3 or honorable mention mage. I haven't gone through all these, but I think he's probably a top 3 mage currently. That with Hecate and Vulcan, I think he's up there. And then his ability to go a wide variety of items is really good too. I mean, Totem of Death, Spear of Desolation that now got buffed, Staff of Mirrodin, even if you want more safety with his 3, for example, being able to proc that twice. And then what's the other item? The World Stone, which actually affects his ult, which is actually really nice. I mean, there's so many things you can buy on him. Pen's very good. He's very safe. And once he gets level 5, that's when you can start doing stuff. So I think he's definitely a top pick for sure. Ares is staying here. I don't give a fuck. There was somebody in the comments, I think, that said that he was B. Bro, I swear to God. I mean, this was before his aspect too, but even with his aspect now, I still think he's like a really good support. Again, he's not as good as he was in Smite 1, which is why he's not going to be an S tier pick in my opinion, due to the fact that Talisman of Purification exists. But I mean, his aspect's really fucking good. He has a stun in his kit now. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. I mean, you still have the trade-offs with Ares' kit when it comes to his 2, and most aspects there's a trade-off. But I mean, having a stun in his kit, his damage is still fucking insane. He just does what he does. He's a very anti-meta type god, so he can counter a lot of gods like Geb, Sobek, any gods with any type of movement ability. You always have to be careful of that. He can counter Aladdin very easily as well, but he is a little bit harder to play because you have to hit his chains. With that being said, I played Ares, had Ares on my team, and he is very, very significant as long as you hit your chains. Not quite as good as he was in Smite 1 in my opinion, because of other items that you can put in your kit, like I said. But he's still very fucking good, so I'm keeping him at A+, especially with his aspect now. Yeah, for sure. Athena's going to go into average. I think I overshot her a little bit. I can't really convince myself putting her here with these other gods at A+. She can still get things done. She's solid. You know, nothing great. The average middle of the road type of guardian, I feel like. One thing I will say is that you can pair her with gods like Medusa, and that instantly makes her a lot better. But you're not going to have that every single game. A lot of burst god, you can be like Sol, Medusa, and Athena, and you can get shit done. But that's more of like a team comp diff more or so, and communication diff. As an average like player playing Athena, if you're like solo queuing or even duo queuing, trio queuing with certain people, it might be harder to get away with that. But I mean, if you are going to queue with other people, I could see her being an A+ god, but generally speaking, I can't really convince myself that she's in a general consensus the same as a lot of these other gods up here. Kern going down. It's actually one of your worst hunters, I feel like. Kern can still get shit done late game, but I think that there's just other gods that do what he does better. Like Anher, Izanami. He has his 2 and his ult that just don't seem to put all that much emphasis on him being that great. Again, late game ADCs are fucking insane, so I mean that's about as much as he has. But I mean, when comparing to other hunters that do his job better earlier in the game and later, I just don't see him being like a A+ anymore. Chalk gonna keep in A+. Chalk very fucking good, does a lot of damage, has a lot of utility for his team with his ult, and he can depending on how you play Chalk, if you can play him well, you can use his 3 to counter a lot of auto attack speed based gods, because it does slow them down. You can go like Leviathans and, you know, reduce their strength, shit like that. I'm trying to think if there's any other slow items. You got Pharaoh's Curse as well if you want that. More of an attack speed based Chalk, not the greatest, but you can still do it. But Chalk very versatile. You can go a lot of things. You can go damagey hybrid with like Soul Gem. His aspect's mid, I feel like, for the most part. His range is not going to be that crazy. So I'd probably just keep the healing. But his slow, his utility, and damage is, I still think, really fucking good. Not top, but definitely pretty good in every single... He's pretty good in every single game, in my opinion. And then we have Cupid. Cupid is... he's also very good as well. I don't think too much changes him here either. His hearts are very good. His ults, obviously, I mean, Cupid's always been that very solid, a little bit above average hunter. His DPS is really nice. His autos don't hit like a truck like a lot of these other gods do, but he's still very good in your team. I mean, with shell being a thing, so like, you know, the shell that allows you to walk through, I can't think of the name right now, but it allows you to walk through god-made walls, so like Kabrakan or Ymir. It's going to make him, that makes him a lot safer. So you don't have to worry too much about that with his 3. His ult's still very fucking good. I mean, cripple, slow, stun, shit like that. So he can also be sort of a support type god with the itemization that they have with like Eros bow, let me think, like Berserker shield even, stuff like that. So you can go some versatility with him as well. But generally speaking, I mean, he's a very solid above average hunter, but he's kind of always been like that. All right, on to Danza. I'm gonna put him in average as well. He's kind of in the same boat as Kernos. His ult's very good. You can track shit down. His 2, I don't think, I mean, his aspect's fine, nothing crazy. If you're already gonna get his spawns, I feel like you should probably not do that. With his 2, I've found myself going up against Danza's with the fucking aspect on. I'm like, great. I don't have to worry about the taunt that he has, because taunts are very fucking good. His 1 is obviously pretty good. I just don't think he has the same type of oomph that a lot of these other hunters have. Again, late game, still very fucking good, because he's a hunter and ADCs are really good right now. But I don't think I can put him in the same category as like a Izanami or Anhur. I think these gods just bring more to the team than Danza, in my opinion. Herc is gonna stay here, dude. Hercules is so much fun. I've been playing a lot of Herc. I could kind of, like, depending who's playing the Herc, I could see him in S, but for like a general playstyle of Hercules, I think that he's gonna stay in A+. Still very good. Almost good in every single team comp, and if you can consistently hit your plucks, he's a fucking menace. I mean, but you know, when you go up against Herc, you kind of know what the fuck he's gonna do. Sometimes you can't stop it because of the player, but a lot of times you can mitigate it. So I don't think he's like top, meaning like you can't really, you know, it's like super hard to counter. It really depends on the type of Hercules you go into. And I think with that being said, I think that he's probably just gonna stay around the A+ area. Hua Mulan, I'm gonna bring down to A. Her damage is still very, it's solid. I wouldn't say it's like similar to Smite 1. Very solid, and her 3 is still very good for you know, CC and shit. But the more I've been having Mulans on my team, and the more I've been going up against Mulans, I've realized how kind of unimpactful she is in most games, unless you're a demon on Mulan. But I mean, if you're a demon on Mulan, you're probably a demon on a lot of other gods too. So it's not really a factor to me. So I think she's probably just average good. I think, you know, from OB2, what I've seen in OB2 versus OB3, she just doesn't do as much for the team, damage and shit like that. Consistently getting pulled by her, and I'm like, oh shit, and then I'm like, oh, nah, nothing crazy. Still can do things though, but nothing great in my opinion. Jing Wei got gutted a little bit. I still think she's a solid hunter, very similar to Danza and Kronos. Can't put her in A+, in my opinion. She does really well with crit though, so you do have to be careful about that. If you build her crit early up, she can snowball, especially with her passive. I gotta be careful about her passive. Every time I play, go into her or you know, even have on my team, I realize I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, she has a passive. So you gotta be careful about that. But I don't think she was once what she's not as good as she once was in OB2, and they nerfed her a lot. So I'm gonna put her in average. But again, ADC's still very good. Kukulkan, I'm gonna keep an A+. I think he's above average. Mage, very safe. I mean, and when you think of like a traditional hunter mage that can do a lot of things. I mean, he has the ult, obviously, for secure high DPS. If you can hit it properly. Very safe with his 2-3 NATO, being able to spit him out, and then, you know, slow immune in his 2. He's very slippery as well, while also doing a significantly large amount of damage. So I'd say Cuckoo's probably still going to be A+. Same with Neith. I kind of want to put her in A. I kind of want to put her in A. Just let me think about this for a second, because I'm trying to think, would I be okay putting Neith in the same category as these? I think I do. I think I'm fine with this. I guess I could see A. I feel like she's in the middle between A+ and A. She's like A-. But I think for the time being, I'm gonna keep her in A+, just because of her aspect's really good. Her full burst build is also very good too. I did a video on that as well. I think she's pretty fucking good, and with not a attack speed cap, with her aspect, she does a huge amount of DPS, and out DPS is a lot of other hunters, especially with the builds that you can go with her. And then her full damage build is really fucking good too. So it's like both builds you can kind of go, and she's relatively safe for the most part. Yeah, I think that's basically it with Neith. Again, there aren't a lot of gods in Smite 1 and Smite 2 yet that I think would fuck her over. Awelix is coming out. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'd say I'd leave Neith A+. I could see an argument for A, but I think she's A+. Nem, I think I went a little overboard. I think she's probably going to be average. Her aspect's really fucking good, but I don't think she's as good as I thought she was, because I don't think really much changed with her. You kind of want to go damage / hybrid build. I don't really want to go tank, but her aspect of judgment or something for her ult is really fucking good, and I've seen some really good players do some shit with this, but I haven't seen too much of it recently. And a couple of NAMs that I've gone into, I'm like, you're not that scary. At least it seemed like from OB2, so I'm gonna keep her at A. Soul's going straight. Forgot about this god, Soul. So these are going to be your gods here. One of these are going to be your honorable mention in terms of top 3, but Soul is fucking cracked. Her ADC build's still very good. I don't think too much has changed with her in terms of where I'd place her. But Soul aspect with her damage, obviously you've probably fucking seen, is absolutely disgusting. So the amount of damage she can bump out with her aspect, it's so good that you're going to go that aspect every single time. She definitely needs a nerf. Throwing out her 2 and her ult literally can one-shot you. I've noticed that. Not quite literally one-shot you, but you know what I mean. Like, you could have full health and she's taking you down with one ability to like half, and then she's gonna kill you with her ult. Or if she hits you with your ult, you're taking like all your fucking health down to the yellow bar, in my opinion. When she gets her build online. In my opinion, it literally is just a thing that just happens. So Soul, you have to be super careful. I've been recently like, okay, she hasn't used her tuner ult in a while, I'm gonna go in on her, and then I have to wait. It's like, okay, I know she has it up. If she throws it and hits me right now, I'm just fucking dead. And so you have to fucking juke that ability, which is super hard to do. But once you do, you can get in on her. But even then, her 3 does so much damage, and her 1, so she's gonna be a top pick. She definitely needs to be nerfed for sure. So I think these are gonna be your top mages. We're in a very DPS meta. Tanks aren't really great late game, and you can get snowballed really easily, which make them even worse if you get snowballed. So Agni, Vulcan, Hecate, and Soul, these are gonna be your top fucking mages right now. Ymir's gonna stay here, A+. He's really fucking good. His ult's nice. I think you can still ult in his. I think it was, you couldn't. They took away the Abyssal Stone. It's not called Abyssal Stone anymore, but that one item that turns you into a fucking pig, a hog. You can still ult in his, or a blink in his ult, I believe. And but you know, his stun CC, it feels like he's got a wider cone in his stun. His wall potential in Joust, because there's very acute angles and like super small corners you can, a good Ymir can take advantage of. And his damage is actually really good. You can kind of go like a more damagey build with his autos, because autos do fucking chunk, whether that's like a auto attack base, or like even like poly or hydras you can really do a lot with, depending on the type of build path you want to go. It'd probably be more of the attack speed, because you still want a little bit of hybrid ability on him if you want to go that route, to give a little bit more damage because his autos do chunk. Or you can just go to the full tank build, and then hope that your team can help you. Because late game, if you're gonna go that build, you're not gonna be doing the greatest amount of damage. So it probably is better just to go a little bit more. Again, with the tanks not being really fucking good, or being really fucking bad, not being really good towards the late game, you do want some damage for yourself. Whether that's like flat pen items like Stone of Binding or Oathsworn, that item that gives you pen, flat pen, and percent pen, or you know, other things I can't think of right now that give flat pen. But yeah, Ymir A+ in my opinion. Zeus, this fucking god, dude. I swear to God, it's either I go up against Zeuses that are fucking demons, whether it's usually people with ADC, it's the ADC build that really makes them good. The full damage build is really good as well. And certain gods that can take advantage of not Scepter of Dominion. The other item that actually I'll just pull it up right now. Okay, no, I was right. It was Jade Scepter, and I was thinking Scepter of Dominion, but no, Jade Scepter. This being having a lot of intelligence and health, this item's actually really fucking good. Not a lot of people build it, but it's really fucking good. So gods like Zeus, Cuckoo, Ra, gods that are pretty much barren actually, the gods that are pretty much stationary can really take advantage of that. So even his full damage build is really fucking good too. I'd say both builds are very solid. But I think with so this is my thing, right? I think it's an Uller type thing, not as egregious as Uller, because Uller's a lot harder to play than Zeus. But I see players play Zeus and they don't know how to play him at all, and you can kind of just run them down. But going into some Zeus people who play Zeus at a really decently high level with the ADC build or full damage, I've noticed that the full ADC build just seems to be a little bit better. He's super fucking hard to go into. So those people who play him at really high level, I'd put him at S. But people who don't know how to play him, don't know how to position well, he's probably like A. So I'm gonna go in between the middle. I'm gonna keep him at A+. I think that's kind of my rationale before too. Because you can go up against some scary fucking Zeuses, but if you don't play him right, he's not that scary. And that's just because he doesn't have like CC immune ult. He doesn't really have a true getaway ability, so you have to play him accordingly. Carefully positioning wise, really fucking good. Make sure to pick and choose your battles, hit your autos, and when to use your ability. So I'm gonna keep him A+, but I can see an argument for S and I can see an argument for A depending on the person piloting it. All right, on to average. Kind of got all these gods. New wall, I'm actually gonna bring up to A+. I've been recently going into some fucking new walls. I'm like, what the fuck? It's really just the factor that she's annoying as fuck. She's not the hardest to kill, but just her spamming her clay minions really fucking is annoying and does a lot of damage. Sure, you did a lot of damage anyways. So I'm gonna bring her up to A+. I think she can probably go in between A+ and A. I think that's what she's gonna be going through. And that was always her in Smite 1. She was either A+. She was never really top pick or below average in my opinion for the most part. Well, she was below average at one point from what I remember, but right now she does a lot of fucking damage, and I think she's a underrated mage that not a lot of people go, and I don't mind seeing her a lot of the time. So I'm gonna put her in A+. Oh, this god. I was thinking, so with Amaterasu, I think I was a little underappreciative of her. I think she probably could have been A+ for Smite 2 and OB2. With that being said, I'm gonna put her in broken. Now, some people might say she's S. I could see that. I could see her being an S tier pick. I just don't personally think she belongs in S tier pick compared to these other gods. I think she's fucking broken. Her win rate's absolutely ridiculous in every other game mode too, especially Conquest. But even in Joust, she's just... I mean, everyone's put out videos of her broken fucking aspect, and that's really just comes down to the amount of things you get in her aspect. You get intelligence, scaling, strength, scaling, attack speed, movement speed, and then you get haste. That's 5 different fucking things in one shit. It's really the haste that really brings her back. One of the biggest things that I really liked about Ama in Smite 1 was an item called Frostbound, which I thought was really fucking good on gods like Ama, because you can have pseudo haste. But now that she just actually has haste in her kit, that just makes her kind of brain dead, and brings her back to being OP as shit. And I think she's broken. They're gonna obviously patch her. There's no shot they're not going to. So she's probably gonna go back down to S. But I literally think she's the best god right now. You can still counter her. I mean, same thing with Aladdin, but it's just when he was busted, broken. But I don't know. I guess I kind of want to see what you guys think. I think she's definitely fucking broken in my opinion, though. I could see yes, like I said, but I mean, she'd be still the top fucking god in my opinion. I think she's better than every other god. I just think she is. So I think I'm gonna put her in broken. Definitely gonna be the first one they're gonna nerf, obviously. Bologna, I'm gonna keep in A. I did not mean to do that. She's gonna stay in A. Almost obviously just better. Like it's the A plus. I've gone up against some decent Bolognas where I'm like, oh, she's pretty good actually. But overall, every time that, for the most part, it's far and few between people where I've gone up against a Bologna. I'm like, wow, she's really hard. So I'm gonna keep her in average. Gooby is actually surprising me, dude. He's more of like a pub stomp god. But holy shit, dude, he does so much damage. I don't know what it is. Again, I can see him in A, but I'm gonna put him in A plus, and I think I'm gonna leave him here because of the new items that are coming out soon in OB4. Now, this is OB3, I get it, but I think I still make an argument he's A plus. But even in the future, when Typhon's Fang and Bancroft's Talon come out, I still think he's actually gonna be he's still gonna be A plus in my opinion. I can still see average maybe. But even like the certain god people that don't play him at a high level or play him really well, I still think they still can get shit done because of his fucking damage and shit. So I'm gonna keep him an A plus in my opinion. We'll see how that stands with you. But I still think he's A plus. Yeah, we'll have to see for OB4 where that goes. Fenrir, I'm gonna bring down to B. I realize that he's not great. You kind of want to build him hybrid or damage. His tank build is not great either. I'm gonna have a video on that out too, but his aspect's not crazy either. You kind of want to go his aspect if you're gonna go the hybrid way. But I mean, with Talisman of Purification being a thing, towers hitting like nothing, and even if you want to synergize it with other things, like if you did Fenrir plus Cabracanal and you want to like trap them in your tower, you got Shell right at the gate, so that part of his kit is not a thing anymore. His damage is so mid, you can, a lot of these gods can mez him out or stun him out or whatever. Like if you go Cabracan into a Fenrir, I mean, you can't do anything, it feels like. So I don't really think Fenrir is. I think he's below average. Kefri is actually pretty fun. I have a Kefri video coming out. If you go the aspect build with like Eros bow, you go like the attack speed type build with like Bragy's Harp, you do a lot of fucking damage and you heal, and you can actually do some pretty cool outplays. But with that being said, I still think he's only going to be average. I think he's still fairly good, just average. Loki's going to be below average. Nothing great about him. I think I thought he was a little bit better than he was. He's certainly not. So he's going to be in B. Same with Mordred. I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, but every single time I see this god, there's just nothing good about him. You can do things with him, but you have to know how to play him. And I've not gone up against a Mordred today that I'm like, oh wow, okay, Mordred's actually doing something. No, at least for OB3, not a single one. They just get farmed every single time, and it's not even like they're playing them horribly. It's just he's just not that great. I'm gonna be honest. Where are we at? Pele, I'm gonna keep it average. Still think she can get shit done. I think she's probably better in Smite 2 than Smite 1. Better items for her, I think. And I still think she can get shit done. Poseidon, I'm gonna keep an A as well. His 3 Kraken's still very good. But other than that, he still gets kind of farmed by a lot of these other gods. So, still very good though. Average is what I'm trying to say. Susano, I'm going to bring in B. I thought he was a little bit better. A lot of these guys I've been putting in A, I think were a little bit better than I give him credit for. So Susano's going to stay in B below average. Not only do I not go up against a lot of Susanos, but the couple that I have gone into, I'm like, you're ulting me and doing no damage. Okay, great, that's all you have? Okay, now I kill you now. Or he just goes away, and it's just like reset and doesn't do anything. The Morgan I've actually been seeing a lot more of. You have to go a specific build to make her really good, but like Life Bender, tanky or hybrid type of build with her playability, with her ult, you know, like the World Stone actually. If you can kind of cook with the items with her in Joust, is like hybrid. I can't really get her A plus because it's like a hidden tech type thing. Maybe if more people learn about it and people are playing it, maybe. But even her win rate's really bad. So I'm going to keep her an A because I know you can still get stuff done with her. But again, she's super fucking hard to play. And I think that's what's going to bring her back. Because she can be really fucking good with the tech type of build. Like I've gone up against a Morgan before, I think in Joust. And I couldn't kill her. She would just 3 away. And I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I kill her? And I'm like, oh, she's going hybrid. Oh, that's a pretty interesting build. Life Binder, shit like that. Have some tech with her. It makes her a good hybrid build. Morgan's actually not bad. I like her with that, but can't really put her up into A plus because it's like a hidden tech type thing. Thor's actually getting an aspect, so this is probably gonna change a lot of things when he does get that aspect. But currently, Thor got up against a lot of Thors. Nothing crazy about him. His dunk is very easy to his dunk is actually surprisingly so much easier to see, and I think that actually makes him average, like not A plus average. His damage is nice, sure, not as much as I felt like in Smite 1. But the fact that I can see his dunk for like 2 seconds, whereas in Smite 2 is so much harder to detect, literally think cucks him a lot. So I think he's going to be in the average tier for Joust. Yamoja, one of the worst win rates. Who would have thought? And she's not very good. Very similar to Odin. I kind of gave her the benefit of the doubt, but she's just not good. For OB3, it seems to be the case. Not only that, I mean, like I think I said it before, but you can get Shell automatically, and 3 people can get it, which literally makes her ult so useless for Joust. So she's gonna be down there. Hades, I'm actually going to bring up. I think Hades is a little bit better than I thought he was. Still not A plus or anything like that, but I mean he's pretty good, and especially with Bancroft's down and Typhon's Fang on the way, I can only see upward things for him. So I'm gonna bring him an A average, and I kind of have to bring him here because I realized that like, now he's not the greatest, but he's a lot better than he once was in Smite 1. So I think I got to bring him back up here, just because you know he can dash in his ult and shit like that. Odin staying here, bad, not good. His ult's useless because of the shell. He does like no fucking damage, and his carry potential is really fucking hard. I'm bringing B for below average. Same thing for Thana. Nothing much changed with him. His aspect's pretty nice if you go like a flat pen tech build, but that really only brings him up to A. You can't do too much with him. So I'm probably gonna leave him at B. All right, and then finally we have the last 3. Achilles, that came out a day before today, on Monday. I think he's really fucking good, and I'll explain why. And he's gonna be a top warrior in my opinion, top 3 warrior or a hybrid god, whatever you want to call it. First, his execute's very good. Obviously, it's always been a thing about him that's really fucking good. In his inception for Smite 1, he's been really fucking good. For that, from when I played back in the day, even. But not only that, his aspect... Okay, his aspect's not the greatest. I'll say that for Joust. I will say, though, Achilles going like a hybrid-ish damage build that I've gone is actually pretty good with his aspect. And that's just because his 3 gets more scaling. And so you pair that with more damage build like, what is it? Hydras or something like that. Hydras, Jotuns, Pendulum Blade, Tekko Kage. You know, like a very Assassin-y type build. You pop like a Mantle of Discord on there or Spirit Robe and the rest damage, and he's fucking smacking. I'm going to have a clip. I got a quadra kill with him. Like my first quadra kill in Joust in so fucking long, in Smite 1 too. But I got a quadra kill with him because I went full damage. You can literally one shot. When I mean one shot, I mean use all of his abilities. Early game and middle way through the game with this build, and even late game. Now, hybrid is still very good. It's hybrid slash tank build. There's going to be another video I'm going to try to do with him, going over the Quadra shield tech, which I think is still very good. Void shield giving you some protections, obviously. It's passive, giving you, protection reduction. And then it gives you strength too. So it's good on him. Shifter shield going to give you, obviously, what shifter shield gives you, some protections, depending on your health, giving you more damage. And then glad shield giving you cooldown, extra damage based on your protections that you're building. And then why can't I think of the shield? The other shield that heals you. You know what I'm talking about. You go all those shields right there, really fucking good on him. And I think it's super tech. So I'm gonna try to get that build out. But even still, I mean, you can go like a Stone of Binding Oathsworn build with the flat pen, because he's got his 1 stun and his 3 actually in his damagey in his passive without his armor on. It does scale with his 3, so you can actually get some even more damage with that. So there's a lot of builds you can go. That's a super tech build with flat pen, taking advantage of flat pen. You can go the hybrid build with the shields and shit like that, and go Oathsworn or Stone of Binding as well, and take advantage of that. And then like the full damage type of build with him is very good as well. But going on to his kit, that's really good too, is his 1. Now having with his armor on, allowing there's extra effects to his kit now, which he didn't have before, which I think makes him even better. For example, in his let's go off without his armor. His 3, you go a lot faster. You dodge a lot faster, making him even more elusive, which is fucking crazy. It's fucking wild seeing him fucking zigzag and being able to do that really quickly. You get more, I believe, penetration. I think it's penetration. I guess I can go look here real quick. All right, so like I said, combat dodge, your attack speed is doubled. When armored though, you do slow them with your 3, which is actually fucking wild. So I mean, both forms are really fucking good. It's actually his 2, which is my mistake, that when foregoing your armor, you hit an enemy god from behind, they reduce their protections. So you use that plus like Oathsworn plus Stone of Binding too. You can actually get a lot of fucking damage on the squishies, and reduce a lot of their protections. And you know, even when armored, you get a fucking shield, which is wild too, making him even better for that as well. And then obviously with his 1, increased stun with his armor, which is very good too. Is there anything else? Increased scaling when foregoing armor, so you get more damage with his 1. Ideally, I think his build path is better, the hybrid or just full damage build. I don't think like a full tank build is going to be great for him. But you know, foregoing your armor and going some damage items, it's fucking obscene how much damage this god does. And you have an execute, which a lot of times you don't even need because you just kill them. But even hybrid, like going full hybrid with like shields and like some tech items like Stone of Binding and Oathsworn, like I said, can allow him to do a lot of shit. And I played him a decent amount and lost some games with him, but holy shit was I fucking with him while losing the game, because he just doesn't die and does so much damage, and he has that threat of an execute. So he's top pick. Sorry I said that way too fucking. I just wanted to go over him because he has a lot of utility, and you play him correctly, he's and it's not even hard to play him correctly too. So he's S tier in my opinion. We'll talk about Batz in a second. Real quick, Rama I think is very good. I think he's probably A+. I think a lot of people don't like him as much. I think a lot of people would put him in the average, and I could see it maybe. But the games I've been playing Rama, I just pop off on him. You gotta wait with his aspect. The thing with his aspect, right? You're foregoing some attack speed, but you're doing a lot more damage to all the people around you. So you're getting a lot more DPS to all your targets because you're going to have your 1-up all the fucking time. So you can actually just hit all the targets. And there's no more body blocking. So it has more DPS when it comes to hitting like all the team. Without his aspect, it has more single target DPS. I'll give it that. But really, the reduction in attack speed seemed a little bit mid. I'm like, I kind of want more attack speed with Rama. But with Rama and a lot of hunters, you kind of have to scale anyways. And once you get a few items online, it feels fucking really nice. You can get up to 2 attack speed if you go like Dagger, Frenzy, and you pop your 2. And you're actually smacking. So I think he's A+. Not only that, what I was going over with his aspect and everything, but his kit overall is still very good too. You can ult up into the sky, and you're safe there for several seconds, giving you enough time to have your 3 back up, and then you can 3 away, giving enough time for your team to come in if they're not there yet, or respawn, or whatever, stuff like that. So I think he's a very safe god, and very high DPS as well. So I'm gonna put him in A+. Batz, I don't know exactly where to put him here, because I kind of want to put him in S, but I kind of want to put him in A+. He's one of those two. I think I'm gonna put him in S though. I think it would do him a disservice not to put him in S. They did nerf him a lot, so he, I would have put him in broken if I would have done a tier list right as it came out. But they nerfed him a decent bit, so he's not as crazy. But going over his kit real quick before I go into like the aspect and itemization with him, his ult is one of the best ults in the game, and I think that being him able to ult in a 3v3 setting allows for so much outplay, saveability, survivability, peel, setup, whatever you can say about him. That's always been his thing in Smite 1 as well. With his 3, he can TP, and now with his aspect, he can stun, which in Joust, I think you're going to almost always want to go. He can kind of go hybrid E2, but even full damage, he still smacks. It's crazy what happens when you add a very highly important CC in his 2 that comes up like every fucking 8 seconds. And then obviously on top of that, he's very easy, or he gets away very easily as well with his 1 and shit like that. So he has a lot of outplay potential, and getting out of the fight. When it comes to his build, and I think that makes him S, is just all of that, but also his aspect with this 2. You don't get as much damage with your 2 with the reduced scaling. But I mean, you can go, for example, with his 2, because it has flat pen in his 2, you can go kind of tech items like Oathsworn, Void, like the similar items that I've been talking about with Achilles, because he has innate, pen, so you can go like a hybrid type build with like Void Shield, Oathsworn, stuff like that. So in a binding now, because his 2 procs it, so he has a lot more potential, and I think that this type of build really suits him well in Joust, in my opinion. And so I think Batz would be doing a disservice to him if I don't put him in S. So definitely in S. Don't think I can. I said I could put him in A+. I guess maybe, but you have to make a really good argument. I started to realize. So I was like, wait, no, he still's got the aspect. He does such a fuck ton of damage. So, but that is basically it. Again, most of these gods in Smite 2, it just seems to be the case that they're all pretty fucking good. I don't feel like a lot of these gods are average. And so, I mean, they're pretty widely spread out. There's still some pretty not stinkers, but like not as great. You can still get shit done with them. But a lot of people, or a lot of gods in A+, A, and S. So it's a pretty widespread graph, which I don't mind. And then you have Ama, so they're gonna nerf her for sure. But that is a tier list for OB3. I'm gonna real quickly go to OB2, and we're gonna compare and contrast like I usually do, and then we'll close out the video. All right, so it's probably a little bit harder to see just the way the website is. I guess I could have taken a screenshot, but here we are. So on the left is OB2, and on the right is OB3. So as you can see, a lot more gods at the below average type of tier. I think roughly the same amount of people in average. Couple more in the S tier. Aladdin got switched out from Amaterasu to S tier. Again, I could probably see her in S if you really want to make the argument, but I think she's pretty broken. And then it seems to be roughly the same all around. A couple more in S, and I think, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 2 4 6 8 10 12 14 16. So basically the same, one less. There's a couple more in S. I think this is the same amount. 2 4 6 8 10 12 30. So one less, but definitely a lot more in below average, more widespread. It seems to be the case, but certain picks like Aladdin being still here, or well, then went down one, but like Medusa, Afro, couple gods went down like On Her, Izanami, Ra, even though I still think Ra could be S. with his aspect. And then, you know, gods that came up a little bit. You got Amaterasu, Anubis, and then that's basically it. Everything else is kind of much the same. New Wall went up a little bit. And then, yeah, that's OB2, OB3. And yeah, let's go back to the OB3 tier list. All right, here is the final product for OB3. If you guys want to skip to the end, this is it right here. Again, I'm going to be doing these for consistently every single open beta patch notes. So, I mean, expect 2 new gods every single... So I'm going to keep doing these probably monthly. I think the last one I did was about a month ago. I want to do these when the last god for that open beta has been released and out, and that's why I did for Achilles, because I played Achilles a lot yesterday. Kind of got the feel for him, and quickly got into this for the day after. It's Tuesday right now. So anyways, OB4, when that comes out, I'm gonna be doing that. OB5, as soon as gods come out, I'm gonna keep doing these updated tier lists. I hope you like them. There's not really much else to say, but yeah, OB3 tier list, here it is. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. I know a lot of people have different opinions. I'm always welcome to it. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. There probably will be tags in the comment section down below as well. The GOAT Not God mod has been recently doing that, and I really so much appreciate that. You don't even believe how much I appreciate that. So you'll probably see in the pinned comment each god and the time frame in which they're being talked about from me, if you want to take a look at that as well. Discord in the description down below if you want to join that. I have memberships open for 2 tiers. I think 99 cents a month and $2.99 a month if you would so desire. Obviously not mandatory, but very much appreciated if you would like to do that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. I said a second time. But yeah, just tell me. I'm so curious. I love the comment. I love the engagement. It's one of the biggest things about YouTube that I like. Even if you think if I'm the stupidest guy in the world, or maybe just have it on the dot. But yeah, I think that's everything that I have for you. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching.